Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of On Point for today, the 9th day of August 2024. And of course, my name is Alexis Jeffers and I am here every Friday, in most cases, for this program which starts at 1 p.m. and goes until 2 p.m. So just 1 hour just to disseminate some information and to update the general public as to what is happening here on Nevis or in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Of course, I want to say good afternoon to all who are listening here on Nevis. All of the parishes are tuned in at this time: St. James, St. Thomas Parish, St. Paul, St. John's and St. George. And indeed, we do have quite a number of listeners down on St. Kitts as well. And I want to say good afternoon to all who would have joined us. We want everyone to be tuned in, not only to this show, but to Von Radio on a whole. So let us shout up those folks down in Statia, Sabre, St. Bart's, French and Dutch St. Martin, of course, U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the entire United States, eastern seaboard going across to the western flank of the United States as well, of course, Canada. And all those cities that we're familiar with, Toronto, Quebec, and so forth, all where all citizens are planted, so to speak, there in Canada. Of course, the whole of Europe, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and of course, over in Asia, we do have some students and citizens living there and going to school there as well. So, whoever have chosen the time taking the time to join us this afternoon, we certainly appreciate it, and we want more of you to listen to this program and of course this radio station. So welcome once again. At this point in time, we normally would acknowledge those families that are bereaved at this time. I don't have any specific family, but I'll say this, that anyone who who would have lost a loved one over the last couple of days or the last week, I want to say my condolences to you. I know for sure next week, Tuesday, we have two important funerals. One will be on Monday. We'll go and celebrate the life and time of Mrs. Jennifer Hodge. And indeed, that is on Monday. I believe it's at 1 o'clock over there at the Methodist Church in Gingerland. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we'll celebrate the life and time and support the families as well of Miss Rubilette Atherton down there at the Catholic Church. I believe it's in the afternoon as well. But you can listen to Von Radio, and of course the information will be disseminated accordingly between now and then. It is always tough to lose someone, as I said before, and I continue to say that. But of course, what you can hold on to are the memories and the time you would have spent with your dearly departed loved one. And then, of course, those memories, I will think, would provide some comfort. But it's always a difficult time, and no words can be expressed to, undo or provide the level of comfort that you need. But we still would like to express our sympathies. Of course, there is death and there's also life, and there are persons who are celebrating, today, tomorrow, over the weekend, or some may have celebrated yesterday. But one such person who celebrated yesterday is a good friend of mine up there in Brick Hill, Irma Thompson. Irma, happy belated birthday. You came home for Culturama, and of course we are happy that you're celebrating that birthday or your birthday with us. At this point in time, I want you to have a wonderful time. Normally up in Brick Hill, we know to have a good time, So I can really say that you would have had a good time yesterday, I'm sure, and today, moving into the weekend, because like we say here on Nevis and many places, you celebrate your birthday and it's like you celebrate for the entire month. So you have the month ahead of you, Irma, and I'll stop by and probably just give you a nice little hug. And whatever else there is to offer, I'll come by and express my best wishes to you as well. There is someone up in England, all the way in England, a good friend of mine as well, and someone from Brick Hill who is celebrating today. Tessa Baker. Tessa is celebrating up there in England. What time it is now? It's 1 o'clock. So it's about 5 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They're about 4 hours ahead of us, thereabouts. So she may be listening to Von Radio at this time. Tessa, Hopefully you are having a wonderful day, and you'll continue to enjoy the rest of today. So enjoy it to the fullest. And as I always say, when it comes to a celebration of a birthday, celebrate as if it's the last birthday. And I was just saying a while ago that if I have $100, I would spend 50 on myself for my birthday, and then hopefully I have the strength and the sustenance and so forth to rebuild that over time. But it's always good to celebrate. So Tessa, have yourself a wonderful birthday, and continue to enjoy what is left of it. I also want to express anniversary greetings to my cousin there, Shariel Merchant, sorry. Shariel and Sharika celebrating their wedding anniversary. I almost lost count as well. I wonder how many. But they have a young union and going strong, of course. So I want to wish them many, many more years of togetherness and happiness together. May God continue to bless your union and provide the strength and the resilience for you to, press on with your marriage. And have yourself a wonderful day today. Someone who will be celebrating on the weekend to come, the 11th of August, my good friend there in Stony Grove, Hilly Atherton. Hilly, happy birthday in advance. I won't be able to express this to you unless I come to see you on Sunday. Well, I shouldn't say if I don't get there. I have to get there, but I'm saying it in advance so that all who are listening, you're aware that Hilly is celebrating on Sunday, and whatever you do, try and remember to reach out to her, call her to express happy birthday, go to see her, take something with you, whatever the case might be. You see, Hilly is one of those persons who we want to lift up because she's always trying her best to contribute and to make a difference here on the island of Nevis. So Hilly, whenever it comes on Sunday, I hope that God will bless you with good health and strength for many years to come. But I know you're going to celebrate on Sunday, and I will not say publicly anything else, but I'll leave it as that. But I just want you to have a wonderful day on Sunday, and all of us will try our best to make sure you have a wonderful day. So those are who I have on my list at this point in time, and anyone else who was celebrating, I want you to have a wonderful time as well, and may God continue to bless you always. And I repeat what I just said. If you didn't hear me, go ahead and enjoy as if it's the last birthday. We want you to live to see many more, but why I say that, we never know what can happen in the next minute or the next day, the next week, the next month, or the next year. So celebrate, spend some time with yourself, spend some money on yourself, and make sure that you can enjoy it and not depend on anyone else to make it a good day for you, but you have all the powers within your hands. Okay, so that's it for the bit of housekeeping for now. Let's move on quickly because we are just here for an hour, and there are quite a number of things we'd like to cover today. Wally Water Taxi Facility. I come here every month, at the start of the new month, I should say, and give the data on the movement of passengers over there at the Wally Water Taxi Facility. For those of you who have not come to Nevis as yet, since it has been open, and for those of you who continue to use that facility, we are all cognizant of the fact that that facility continues to play a major role in the economic landscape here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, because you have persons who are moving back and forth, and businesses that are thriving out of that facility, and of course the entire Nevisian economy and the St. Kitts economy are impacted by that facility because of the commerce that is generated through that facility or through the usage of that facility. So you have people moving back and forth on a daily basis. Every minute, every hour of the day, persons are moving back and forth and going about their business and getting business done. And that is why we tend to keep track of what is happening over there, because the data tells a story. First and foremost, it tells a story about the amount of money that is generated over there by all who are involved. NASPA, taxi operators, boat operators, of course restaurant and bars here on the island of Nevis and on St. Kitts as well, guest houses, hotels, all of the different businesses that depend on people and the movement of people are certainly benefiting as well. Indeed, Social Security, everyone who works there, whether they work for the boat company, work for NASPA, or their taxi operator, all of them, I would hope, are paying their contributions to Social Security. So every time there is a new employee brought on over there, that is an addition to the contribution pool of Social Security. So it is big business. It is a big business, huge operation, and one that we always have to talk about, because in truth and in fact, the intention and the vision of the CCM-led Nevis Island administration was to provide such and to ensure that there is the ease of movement and also the benefits that are being derived. That was the vision, or those are the vision of the CCM-led Nevis Island administration, and it's certainly bearing fruit. There were indeed challenges, as with everything else. There were difficulties, as with everything else, and we were able to overcome all of that, irrespective of the comments and the criticism and the negativity that was being spewed out there. We decided to press on, get the job done, get it open. That is the administrative side of it, and make sure that it is playing the role that it should play. So in terms of the passenger movement over there for the month of July, and I believe at some point we can strip out the numbers as it pertains to the Culturama weekend, or we can strip out the numbers when it comes to, for example, the Tropics function that was held sometime earlier in July. But I would just give a blanket number for now, meaning the total passenger movement in and out of Uwali Water Taxi Facility for the month of July. So we had 13,935 passengers, yes, who left Reggae Beach to come to Uwali Beach, for example. And when I say Reggae Beach, of course we had persons living Park Hyatt, perhaps Christopher Harbour, but these were the passengers who came into the water taxi facility over there at Uwali. 13,935 passengers. And going out to the various points and syndicates, 11,858 passengers. Yeah? Which gives us a grand total of 25,793 passengers. So that's 25,793 passengers would have used the facility for the month of July. Now we have been keeping a running total, for example, from January up to the end of June, and indeed up to the end of June we had 144,860 passengers up to the end of June. So we're going to add now the total for July, which is 25,793 passengers. We are now up to 170,653 passengers who would have used that facility over the last, well, call it 7 months. Remember last year we were, the data would have shown just over 241,000 passengers would have used the facility. So we're just about the middle of the year, and we are doing good in terms of consistent numbers. And from what I'm showing here, if this is the case, then we may very well surpass what we did last year. I am looking for at least 250,000 passengers moving through that facility, all being well, by the end of 2024. But so far so good, and like I said, we continue to provide convenience and reliability over there, and safety as well. And I always want to implore upon all boat operators and all those who ply the trade out of the Uwali Water Taxi Facility to adhere to the rules and regulations that you should be guided by, that are handed down by NASPA. And which means boat operators, make sure you're doing the necessary collection of data in terms of name and so forth, so we know who are on these boats. Anyone who applying a trade over there and they're not using the facility, it is incumbent upon you to follow the rules. And here's why. We don't want a situation to arise where we don't know who is on or who are on these boats, because if there was an unfortunate incident and no data is available, then we won't know. And it is certainly going to put NASPA in a bad position, in that they become complicit in not impressing upon all of the users to follow the rules. And some may use the various facilities or move passengers back and forth and think that, well, hey, I have my own boat, I have my own equipment, and I can do as I so desire. But let's keep in mind that NASPRA is the entity that controls the territorial waters, or the waters stretching from, let's say, over here at Long Point all the way up to Long Hall Bay. So NASPRA controls those areas, and as such, it is incumbent upon all users. And this is not pointing a finger at any single person, but I'm just saying that we have had disasters in the past, none more disastrous than the sinking of the Christina. And that was as a result of, unfortunately, I believe, negligence on many persons' part. And indeed, we don't want to have such a disaster again. Of course, on the 1st of August, we would have celebrated the 54th anniversary of that disaster, and we have not seen anything such of that magnitude since, and we don't want to see anything of that magnitude again going into the future. So we all have to play our part. Government has to play its part, NASPRA has to play its part, and by the same token, all those who ply their trade in those waters, or these waters between St. Kitts and Nevis, you have to play your part as well. So let us be cognizant of that, and let us not be complicit in any way and think that we can circumvent the rules. So that being said, we'll leave that and we'll move on quickly, because of course there are other things that we need to cover before we get out of here at 2 o'clock. So we're just coming out of Culturama. Culturama ended on Tuesday of this week. Tuesday, I believe, was what, the 6th of August, where the last event was, of course, the parade of troops and bands, and indeed last lap and the likes. But prior to that, of course, we had all of the shows. We had Queen's Show, we had Calypso Show, we had the Talented Youth, we had the Mr. and Miss Mr. Cool and Miss Swimsuit competition, and other competition and events were held throughout the whole of Culturama, including the Soca Monarch and so forth. All of the events would have gotten some form of rating, I'm sure. There were comments made about all of them, good comments, negative comments, suggestions and opinions were expressed. Of course, that is all welcome, in my opinion. I will say that those who are in a position to receive these comments and evaluate them, I will say do so and see in which way improvements can be made, or build upon what is going well thus far. The food fair, for example, is one that was, in my opinion, largely a success. It was a huge crowd down there, and indeed I believe all of the booth operators and owners must have done reasonably well down there as well. What can be done to improve it? Of course, we can always look at that moving forward. The powers that be will certainly have a chance to do that for sure. But Culturama 50 has come to an end. I want to commend the Nevis Island Administration. I want to commend the cabinet of the Nevis Island Administration. I also want to commend the minister responsible, the Honourable Eric Evelyn, the Premier, and everybody who would have had their input prior to Culturama, because of course the publicity had to be done, the admonition to all nationals abroad to come home and visit your homeland. Those who hadn't come for a long time, come home and see what is happening on your beloved island and your beautiful island. And of course, quite a number, thousands of persons would have adhered to the admonition and would have come. And now they have come. I am certain that many of them don't want to leave, but you'll have to leave, because you have to go back to your job and your family abroad. But here's the important thing. Know that you have come and you've seen. Know that you have come and have experienced. Know that you have come and you've expressed all of the wonderful things about your island. We want you to come back soon again. Come back soon. Don't let it be 10 years. Don't let it be 5 years. Don't let it be 2 years. At least if you can come back before the year is done, we welcome you back. If you can come back next year for Culturama 51, I will say come back as well. But whatever you do not forget about your homeland. Do not forget about the opportunities that you saw here. Do not forget about the things that would have, piqued your interest when you were on island, so that you will be energized and motivated to come back sooner rather than later. If you're still here, continue to enjoy this lovely island we call paradise. Do not let anyone who visit this island enjoy it more than you. So come and enjoy. This is your homeland. And I love the fact that persons meet me all the time and say, listen, you all continue to take care of Nevis. You're doing a wonderful job, a marvelous job. These are not my words. These are what have been told to me. And persons have continued to express their pleasure and their overall sense of gratitude as to what has happened here on the island of Nevis. And as such, you know, I will say this right now, yeah? NRB, I beg you go ahead and press the reset button on what you all have been saying, yeah? Press the reset button and start all over again, because if you're going to go down the road with the same negativity, when people have come and opened up their eyes in astonishment and amazement as to what they have seen, then you have to go ahead and press the reset button, come with something new. Stop calling down in the island of Nevis and stop making a fool of yourself. And I'm being blunt this afternoon, because it is time for us to understand that this island, which hasn't done nothing to all of us who live here other than to provide for us and provide the opportunities for us to excel and be better at what we do and get better at what we are doing. This island don't necessarily owe us anything at this point in time. We owe this island a sense of gratitude and some love. And that is why I'm saying this afternoon, it is time for the NRP to go ahead and press the reset button and come with something new. Because those folks who would have come and have traveled the entire island of Nevis and seen good roads and have seen good housing development and excellent housing developments around Nevis, and have gone to all of the different places on Nevis, like down at Penny's, Malcolm Gishard Park, and all up and down Nevis. Man, they've also gone to Nevis Peak and looked down on Nevis, and they have been marveled at what they have seen. And as such, we sometimes have to change our game. But if you want to continue down that road, I would say to you, whatever Nevis have done to you, I say, I apologize on behalf of the island of Nevis. But those of us who continue to believe in this island, continue to lift up this island, continue to embrace what this island has to offer, I will say to all of us who continue to do that, press on in that regard, because there are so many more things we can accomplish here as an island, so many things that we can do to make sure that what we are leaving is a sound and well intact legacy for those who are going to come after us to embrace and enjoy. And I want to exit this world or this island or this world, whatever you want to say, that, and knowing that I would have done my best to make sure that we have left Nevis better than we met it. I believe there is a song out there, I think it's this guy Murray, this Calypsonian, who have this song, Better Than We Met It. I love that song. That is the thinking of this CCM-led government. That is the thinking of all Nevisians who believe in this island, that we want to leave it better than we met it. And so, I know the NRP, have a culture of lies, and their history have demonstrated and shown that. A culture of lies, deception, and everything that is negative. We know that. Because I'll tell you this much before I go on to Culturama and other things about Culturama. The NRP, and when I say a culture of lies and deception, is the only party in Nevis that has ever removed people's name from a voters list and said they can't vote. We know that the United Nations would have established or passed this resolution or whatever it is back in 1947, we call adult suffrage, where you had that right to vote. NRP told us in 2011, 200 plus voters, you couldn't vote here in Nevis. Even though you live down the street from them, even though you're alive and well, they say you're dead. That is NRP for you. So when I say they have a history of lies and deception, and they want to put some wool over your eyes, that is how they are. So that is why they did not expect the amount of persons who came to Nevis to see what Nevis was like, to see if NRP is really telling the truth or lies. They didn't want you to come, but lo and behold, you got on a plane and came, and when you came, you saw and you believe, because your eyes haven't fooled you one bit. And so that culture of lies and deception, they'll continue down that road, but we want to bring the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. And that is why when I said that they removed people's name from the voters list and the matter was taken to court, and the first time in the history of Nevis, one of their ministers was deemed to be null and void stripped of the seat, that is history for you, and it happened. And that is why when they do and say what they do and say, I want us all to pay attention. Pay attention. But in paying attention, you must always understand that there are two different parties in Nevis. One that is going to bring you the truth, one that continues to work hard on your behalf, one that always put people first, and the other, they'll have to tell you who they are, because I really don't know who they are, because they are Nevisians, but they're completely different to the type of Nevision that we want to mold here in this island. That being said, let's move on. So, you have come. Oh, before I go any further, the weather. Let me talk quickly about the weather, because we are in the hurricane season still. And of course, we had some showers earlier. The weather has changed a little bit out there. And I want to say, most importantly, that there is a system in the Atlantic that is in the eastern Atlantic heading west towards these islands. We don't know what it will become over the next couple of days or the next week, but I want us to pay close attention. Here's why. These systems, with the advent of climate change and the likes, we have seen systems change from just a tropical wave to a tropical storm to a hurricane within days, sometimes within hours. And it can get to a category 5 in no time. And I want us to pay attention, keep an eye to the east, because that system, it is they're suggesting, that is the weather pundits are suggesting, that it may amount to something, and something big. So if that is the case, I don't want to get anyone frightened or anything like that. I just want us to be on alert and be aware as to what is happening around us. And so all of the preparations that you have to make, continue to do so. Those of you who would have done adequate preparation and you can do more preparation, go ahead and do that. All of the information that is disseminated from, let's say, on radio, from the disaster management here on the island of Nevis, NEMA and St. Kitts and whomever else, all of the reputable sources out there, I want you to continue to monitor what is going on, because we're heading towards the peak of the season, and based on what the forecast was at the start of the season, we expect quite a number of storms, and in that regard, we have to always be on alert and be prepared, as the Scout motto say. So that was my bit on that, and of course, we have gone through tumultuous times in the past during the hurricane season, and we have overcome in many regards, but we don't want to have anything serious to slow down the progress that we're making here on the island. These storms can reap havoc whereby you can be set back years in some cases, so we're hoping for the best, and may God continue to bless us, of course, and protect us as we go through this season. Okay, Culturama. Well, let me start. I'll say this. I want to commend the management here at Von Radio, the entire staff of Von Radio, and the institution on a whole for providing us with the information, and this station would have been the #1 station throughout the entire Culturama season. And of course, it really set the bar to some extent. At a very high standard that was, that we experienced here at Von Radio. And indeed, all of the information that was disseminated, it really created that buzz and that environment for us to have a wonderful Culturama. So I want to congratulate the general manager here, Everett Weber Herbert. I want to congratulate all of the staff members who are here and those in the office who normally would interact with you when you come, the entire Von Radio team. And I know for a fact they brought back some of their legends of the past. I want to give them that name. At some point, those who are here now will be considered legends then too, and they'll be brought back in the future too. But those who would have come, I see Randy there, Randy Keynes, Miss Richardson would have come, Colin Archibald is here as well, and of course, who else? The others, all who came back to lend their voice to Culturama 50 and play their part in disseminating the information and brought some life to the whole thing. I want to commend you and commend all who would have been a part of the effort, yeah? And I start that way because, of course, radio has its place in in the overall landscape of dissemination of information. We now have social media, Facebook and X and Twitter and what they call them, all sorts of social media platforms. All of them out there playing their part. But there's something about radio. You just can't get away from radio. When I'm driving around, I can't look at my phone and see what is happening on Facebook or whatever the case might be, but my radio is on in the vehicle. I can be somewhere remote where I don't have access to the internet, but radio is on. So radio has its place and continue to be one of the most important means of disseminating information. And Von Radio, which covered all of the shows, or pretty much most of the shows, and also had some different activities, like say the what do you call it now, the summit, Culturama summit, and also the Song of the Year contest and other things that were done to create that hype and that buzz. It all worked, and it was all, actually I can say they were successful in many regards. Yeah, not forgetting the playground. So, Von Radio, take a bow. You did a wonderful job. I want to commend the Culturama Committee and all those who would have played their part in terms of the contestants and the band and mask makers. All of you deserve an applause. Give you a hand for that. Well done. Okay, so that being said, let me move to the most important thing. But before I do, let me just back up and just mention quickly the winner of the Song of the Year contest. Yes, Easy of the Odyssey band. Yes, that's our fellow villager up there in Brick Hill. Easy, congratulations. You'd have collected what, $100? It's so big, but you amount to $5,000. That's a lot of money in today's time, really. You can use that for many things. So Easy, congratulations to you and the Odyssey band, of course, who would have provided the musical accompaniment. And also I want to thank the Hosford Navy Center for coming on board for sponsoring this particular event. I am doing that, because I'm a part of Von Radio. I'm a part of this family. So I want to express my gratitude as well on behalf of the station and myself. So congratulations once again to everyone who would have participated in anything that Von Radio would have done throughout the Culturama season. And most importantly, let me say congratulations to Easy Warner for winning the Song of the Year contest, and of course those of you who went up to that event up at 869 2 Fridays ago, that Legends Calypso show, that as well was a wonderful event and had its hiccup here and there, but that's okay. At least the effort is what matters, and I went there and had a wonderful time. Okay, good. So we go on now to Herbert Beach Affair. And I laugh when it comes to Herbert Beach Affair, because we've been having this thing for 27 years. 27 years minus what? 2020, I believe. No, we didn't have in 2020 because of the COVID situation. But all in all, we started up there back in 1997, and I came on board fully when I returned to the island back in 2003. And ever since then, I've been trying my very best to spearhead this event, and it has been a challenge over the years. We've had our difficulties, we've had our good times as well. So the most important thing is that we continue to have that event, and as such this year was no different. For the 50th anniversary, we decided we are going to have a larger event to some extent, more activities, and some of the activities were not held because of the weather condition. For example, we were hoping to have some kayak racing, and we were unable to do so because of the sea. The seas were rough, and indeed we were hoping to have greasy pole as well, but because of the exposure to the sea blast and everything, the metal anchor and everything that anchors that pole, the greasy pole that is, that broke, and of course we'll have to get some engineers to come up with a new plan for that greasy pole over there, or that wooden pole that is normally used to have that activity. Of course, the bouncing castle that should have come, things went awry didn't arrive. Okay, so those things didn't happen, but that didn't take away from the fun and the frolic that was over there. Indeed, I want to thank a friend of mine down the Instant Kids, Mr. Hazel. I forgot his first name, but anyway, he would have called about bringing his electronic bull. You know, this bull that you sit on and, you know, you just go around in a chin bar, whatever the case might be. Some persons took on the challenge, and that added to the fun and the excitement and the laughter out there, that electronic bull. Some persons fell off, some people stayed on, I don't know. But I decided not to give it a shot because it's not in my DNA to do such thing. Anyway, that was a part of that. And of course we had the music, which I'll go through all that and thank the persons who would have, you know, provided the assistance and also making sure that event was a successful one. We had thousands of persons over there, and that number adds to the thousands who would have come over the years. I almost want to say that we've had well over 150,000 persons who would have patronized that event over the years, over the past, let's say 27, 26 years. But this past event was one where we brought all of the stakeholders together and all of the persons who normally participate and who normally lend their support. They came on board, and as such I want to thank everyone. And I'm going to call person's name because every year I do the same thing. I can give one blanket thank you and move on, but it's good to acknowledge people for their effort, because indeed we depend on all of these persons, and it is like a motivation for them to come back again to assist. So let's go. I have some time left, and that is why this show is what it is today. It's one where we are saying thank you. So I want to thank the folks who would have done the construction of the booths over there, spearheaded by Mr. Stanley Williams, Winky. We all know Jensen France, but we call him Winky. Derek Didder, and also Damian Hicks. They were responsible for those booths. And of course we had 18 booths this year. Normally we have just about 10 or 12 booths, but this year the demand was there. It was anticipated to be a big event, so different booth operators would have come by and asked to be on board as well. I want to thank Damien and Burley and their crew for the erection of the pretty lights, those lights and buntings, and also Burley for his effort in making sure that we had proper electricity over there as well. Carl Tyson and his crew for the stage. They would have come and erected that first class stage over there. It looks international when you look at it. We're done with those wooden plywood stage, so we're moving on. I also want to thank Junie Penny for his light plant, and also generator as well. He would have rented us a generator that carried the load for those bands. DJ Zimba and his crew, Darren Sutton and his crew, George Botai Chapman and Asim Chapman for their support as always with backup service, and the light plant there from Botai as well, and whatever they would have done to make sure that the site and the clearing and everything is done. I also want to thank Rodney Tent Rental for renting us all those tents over there. Even though we're paying you, Rodney, I still want to thank you, because you could have gone elsewhere, but you chose to come and make sure that we had some tent to cover those bars and to provide some shelter as well too. The Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation, Public Works, the NIA, Minister Eric Evelyn, and also Eva Kaya. I wonder if anybody know this particular business. Eva Kaya Trucking Service. That is Ev. Rasta guy there from Cotton Ground. He's a very helpful guy. He rents dumpsters in the trucking business. I love doing business with him, and you should do business with him as well too, because you'll certainly enjoy or love his professionalism. One Coco, Casanova Band, Garlic and the Upper Level Band. They provided good entertainment in the early hours of Monday evening, and I want to thank them. Of course, later on in the evening we had the Grand Masters and also the Smolux Band. They are a staple over there. They are perennially there, and they want to come every year. They call me first. I don't normally call, but they normally pick up the phone and ask, Zook, are you having Herbert Beach affair? I say, yes, we are. Well, they say, I come in. you know, and that's the relationship we've developed over the years, you know. So I want to also go on and thank my good friend there at TDC and my former classmate Colin Freeman and his Honeybees string band, the Sugar Hill string band, DJ Lalbo. SG Presidential, I want to apologize to you, sir, because you were supposed to play over there, but with all of the activities that we had, it was difficult. We were hoping to go down until 6 a.m. in the morning, but people crank out at about 3 o'clock. So, SG Presidential, I want to thank you for showing up anyway. It shows that you indeed wanted to be there. Some other event will reach out to you and make sure that you are on board. So the vendors as well, the booth operators, as I mentioned before, there were 18 persons or 18 booths that were constructed and operated by 18 different booth operators. I want to thank you for coming, because without you, we wouldn't have had the drinks, we wouldn't have had the food, we wouldn't have had the camaraderie, we wouldn't have had the type of environment and the ambience over there that we would have had. And also, when it's all said and done, a lot of persons said the food was embellishing, they enjoyed it. Yeah, and thank you for that. I want to also thank the vendors. The vendors, you know, you come and you sell your stuff. I always ask for a contribution, but you don't give me anything. But maybe next year you might think about giving me a little $50 to play for the music or whatever. But be that as it may, you came and you were part of it, and hopefully you made some money. I want to thank the prison officers and the administration up there at the Russell's Rest, as we call it, up at the prison there up at Madden's. I want to thank all of the inmates who came and did the cleaning prior to the event, meaning clearing all of the shrubs and debris and so forth down there at Herbert Beach, and also came back on Tuesday morning, that's Tuesday the 6th, and did the cleanup, meaning picking up the cups and the plates and all of the items that were disposed, that were thrown down over there on the ground. They came and picked those up, cleaned up the place, and made sure that Herbert Beach was restored to what it should be in terms of a clean environment. So I want to thank them for their effort. Every year they are on board, and it is certainly a part of their giving back and their community service, so to speak, even though they are, you know, they're inmates that come out and they do what they have to do, and I want to thank them for that. Security forces, the police, and all who would have come and maintain the security and the safety down at Herbert Beach. I want to just knock a bit, because over the last 27 years, we have not had any incidents down there to mar the activity in any way. So I want to thank the police for being stern and being ever present. The police from Newcastle, all of you, and also those who would come from perhaps Charlestown or wherever they are stationed to come to Newcastle to provide the security down there at Herbert Beach. Thank you very much for maintaining the peace. The bingo, we had a bingo, so I want to thank Mrs. Carol Jem Rollins, my good friend there, for coming out and spearheading that, along with my cousin Chanel Skeet, who both of them would have spearheaded that and made sure that the necessary data is kept, and the necessary persons who would have won receive their prizes. Yeah, so I want to thank both of them, Carol and Chanel, for your effort, and all of the bingo participants. You know, some of you would have come just for the bingo, and of course you would have had your success in three cases, because the first game was won by 2 persons, and then the second game was won by a single person. I want to congratulate you for coming. I want to congratulate and thank the thousands of persons who came. Those who would have come for the first time, you had an experience out of this world. Good music, good food, good camaraderie. It was a time for you to reconnect. It was a time for you to reunite. Whatever the word is, you were able to do so right down there at Herbert Beach from just around 12 midday down until about 3 o'clock on the Tuesday morning. And of course we did advertise that Macefield Nisbet would have come by and would have done some aerobics on the Tuesday morning. Well, it didn't happen because, like I said, persons obviously were tired. Around 2:33 persons would have been out of there and gone home to their warm bed to rest. And but irrespective of what, I want to thank all of you for coming down there. And this business I left for last, because it is one of those business that continue to contribute here on the island of Nevis. And they've always come to my aid in terms of support. I want to thank Captain Perkins, Plug Eye Perkins. You know, everybody like their nickname. He like the name Zook too. And he like Plug Eye. Yeah, that's how we grew up, you know, with a nickname. Mine though is a legal name, eh? So be careful out there. But I want to thank Captain Perkins and his entire team, the whole of Island Water Sports, for their effort in terms of moving those band members from St. Kitts and back to St. Kitts. Because like I said, Small Axe Band would have, you know, completed their performance somewhere around, after 2 sometime, about 2, just after 2. And then of course the team was down there at Wally waiting to move them back to Reggae Beach. So that requires some patience, and I want to thank the entire captain and crew of that particular boat. Would have done that safely, but most importantly, I want to thank Vincent Plug Eye Perkins for providing the support as usual. Thank you very much, Vincent, and I want to continue to wish your business well, because the opportunity is there for you to continue to press on and, you know, do what is necessary to ensure that that particular type of business continue to prosper and to move persons safely between the island of St. Kitts and Nevis. But, you know, Herbert Beach, like I said, that's a wrap on that, but I need to say this, because even today, the NRP is still obsessed with Herbert Beach, and those out there who are still obsessed, I want to say to you bluntly and clearly, please move on with your life, huh? Move on. There's certain things in life you just cannot stop. And when I say you cannot stop, let's go back to 2006 to 2011. All efforts were made by the NRP then to kill that particular event. Why? I don't know. It is not a CCM event. It is not an Alexis Jeffers event. It is an event for the parish of St. James and the people of St. James. It is an event where we are saying that persons who don't get a chance to make $1 in Charlestown, they can come up to Herbert Beach and spend some money and people make $1 up there. There are vendors up there and there are booth owners and operators who come to Herbert Beach who cannot get a booth in Charlestown and will never get one. But even if it's for one day, we are saying we are providing the environment for that economic activity to take place for those persons up in St. James to make $1. Now, keep in mind, not all of the booth owners and operators are from St. James. But of course, the activity is up there, and as such, the opportunity is there for everyone. Whether it's a St. James booth operator, someone from Gingerland to make money. But here is the thing. Bus operators who apply their trade between Newcastle and Charlestown, they get a chance to move passengers to Herbert Beach. And they're always full coming to Herbert Beach. Those who, like I said before, those vendors from Charlestown or wherever, they would come and they wear the green pant, they wear the green shirt, selling their stuff. And all I say to them, make your money. I don't see colors on Herbert Beach a fair day. It is not my function in terms of Alexis Jeffers' function. I spearhead it, yes, but you don't see my name on any flyer. I don't have a booth, I don't operate, and I have no interest in operating a booth. My interest, first and foremost, is for the constituency of St. James, where persons can leave Charlestown and come up to the north and experience what we have to offer up there. You're close to the beach, right next to the ocean, and if it gets hot any day, you just jump into the ocean and take a swim and come back and enjoy yourself. So it is not my function. So I just want to say to those who continue to say it is a CCM function, well, continue down that road. But all I'll say to you, over the last 27 years, those of you who have been obsessed with that function, I say, well, be my guest and continue. But all I know, I've been guided by something throughout my life, that there are persons who, make things happen, persons who watch things happen, and people who wonder what happened. A lot of people are going to continue to wonder what's happening up there, in the sense that once there is strength in our bodies, those of us who are spearheading it and those of us who go about our business to make sure it happens, we are going to say, well, they'll continue to wonder what's happening, because we're going to press on. And pressing on is a part of our, it's a part of us. We don't take no for an answer. We don't stop to consider what is being said. All we know, we have an event to put on and we put it on. As a matter of fact, let me go one step further, because even the lands up there, I speak about it all the time. Because the NRP, along with the leadership of the NRP, have a major problem with those lands up there too, We acquire those lands. Let me give the people of Nevis and those who are hearing for the first time. Those lands up there at Herbert Beach, 13.9 acres of lands. They were about to be bought by a land mogul who was here, a lady who now departed, but already have over 600 acres of lands stretching from one parish to the next, and wanted to purchase those lands. They had the money to purchase it because we know the money was already sitting down somewhere in some escrow account to purchase those lands. But when I learned of it, I said, wait, 13.9 acres of Nevis prime land. Mark you, the government didn't own it initially. It was privately owned. But there was so much confusion surrounding those lands. And so much was to be done that never got done. And so many people wanted to sell it out to make quick money. I decided when I was the representative then, that an approach to the cabinet of the Nevis Island administration was necessary. And so I made the case, and I want to thank all of my colleagues then for acceding to the request, and we acquired those lands for the people of Nevis, not for Alexis Jeffers, not for any single person, but they were acquired to put into the land stock of the Nevis Island administration. So when you drive down there and you walk on those lands and you go down and you pick your grapes and you go down there and you pick a jelly or coconut, whatever the case might be, they are your lands, the people of Nevis lands. But I want you to think about what could have happened if the effort was not made. As the representative then, I probably would have been chastised for that. But let's say, for example, that land mogul, and that's how I want to, without calling name, I would refer to her as that. Let's say that person would have bought those lands. First thing you'd have seen going up down there is one long green fence from ocean all the way up to the boundaries. The boundaries would have been fenced in. And then you'd have had access to the beach, because no one can fence out our beaches here in Nevis. But you would not have had, as Nevisians, access to those lands. Most people, they buy lands, including that same person, and the first thing they do is fence it up. And so today we can go down there and have unlimited access to those lands, because they're not fenced up. They're your lands, so the people of Nevis, visitors alike, must have access to them. At some point we'll have to come up with a plan for those lands to make sure that we're securing them for the future generations to come. Because I was told, that is what I was told by someone in the NRP, anyhow, the government had changed in December of 2022. Them lands, they were already earmarked to build big condo and villas, sell out everything down there, and some would have gone with their monies. What the Nevisian public or the people of Nevis would have gotten? It's nothing. Maybe collect a few taxes here and there, but the millions would have gone into other people's pocket, yeah? That is if the NRP was ever to see government back in December of 2022. But I am so glad the people of Nevis decided that the CCM is who they're sticking with, yeah? Sticking with CCM, and we're going to come up with a plan for down there to make sure that the access is there for Nevisians. The access is there for visitors. All of us can go and enjoy that particular tract of land. And of course, once they strengthen our body, we'll continue to have activities down there so that people in Nevis, the people of Nevis, but more so the people of St. James, can enjoy what is theirs, enjoy the ambience down there, enjoy the good scenery and the good environment down there. So that being said, we leave that and then we come back to Herbert Beach, God's willing, next year, and indeed for future years. Okay, so that's it. So we have a few minutes left, but I'll just say that those who would have come, you'd have heard over the years about $500 million The Nevis Island administration would have received $500 million over an 8-year period. Mark my words, listen me good. 8 years. Well, you drive around Nevis, I am certain that you'd have seen what $500 million have done in the island of Nevis. I started by talking about housing. I spoke about the roads. I spoke about the Newcastle police station. I want to talk about Charles Road. I want to talk about the project up there in Butlers, the Viogen housing, not housing, the Viogen sporting complex. I want to talk about University Heights. I want to go around the island and talk about housing in St. George Parish, Rollins Road, Hanley's Road. I want to talk about Simmons's up there at River Park, down in Fotogills, all over Gingerland roads were done out of that money. You want to go all, well, you have the, what do you call it, the David Freeman Center, that cultural center over there at Market Shop, and you can go throughout the whole of Gingerland. Water has been improved. You go around Nevis, you see all of these large reservoirs that were put in recent years. Over $30 million was spent on enhancing water here on the island of Nevis, and the electricity service here on Nevis is excellent. We have our days when power is out, yes, because Nevlec is doing maintenance work here or there. But with any equipment and any bit of device, there must be at some point some glitch or some difficulty that arises. So when we have unplanned outage, that happens. But I say all of these things because you hear about $500 million over an 8-year period. I want the people of Nevis to be aware and must understand that every single year $500 million is placed in the budget in St. Kitts out of the CBI funds to subsidize their recurrent expenditure down there in St. Kitts. And what is recurrent expenditure? Wages, salaries, you know, payment for whatever the services and goods the government will purchase. Yeah, $500 million every single year is placed in the budget in St. Kitts. We get $500 million over an 8-year period on divisions. They're not happy or they're jumping up and ask where $500 million gone. Where you all in asking it where they want gone? When our electricity is more reliable than theirs. Our water distribution, the network stretch the whole of Nevis. I mean, I can't understand what kind of people these are. I'm in a different mood today. But anyway, let me start it, me shut it down, because we're going to talk politics as we go along, you know. But I wanted to come to say thank you. But $500 million every year is placed in the budget down there to subsidize the budget in St. Kitts out of the CBI program. That the passport money I'm talking about. Money that is supposed to be spread 24 to 76% or whatever it is our population is. And you're talking about $500 million over an 8-year period. I want to commend the Honourable Mark Brantley and his team here for doing a marvelous job in looking after the island of Nevis. And what people are saying are you continue to take care of the island of Nevis. You've been doing a wonderful job, Mark Brantley, as the leader of Nevis. And no matter what they say about you, there's no other person right now to push this island forward or manage the affairs of the island of Nevis. Whatever else out there, I don't even know. But I can tell you that Nevis is in good hands. Just like Allstate, you know, that insurance company in the United States, they have a tagline, or their motto is, you're in good hands with Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. So you're in good hands with Mark Brantley and the Concerned Citizens Movement. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that's my quota. My engineer is giving me a signal. So it's time to wrap up. I want to thank you very much for listening today. As always, it is always my pleasure coming here. 1 hour is certainly a long and a short time in some instances, but it was indeed my pleasure. I want to thank you. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Those of you who go to church on Saturday, go ahead and praise your God tomorrow. Those who go on Sunday, make sure you go to church on Sunday and do likewise. And I want to say, may God continue to bless us all. May He continue to bless the island of Nevis. And I want us to take care of ourselves, take care of this gem we call Nevis. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, and may God continue to bless us all.
Views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.
You're listening to Vaughn Radio from the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis.
The afternoon time has moved on to 2 o'clock.
With all the power from the tower, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, VON Radio, from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.